I'm excited for today for you guys to hear from Kelly Clarkson because she is such a dynamic woman. She's a mother. She's so smart. And with her, everything is family first. And I respect the hell out of her for that because she really protects that, she guards that, and she makes sure that, you know what, she's like, I can do it all. And God bless her because she is doing it all.
And we are going to see, wasn't my timing pretty good because of the dude with the sign 1 minute, and then you were leading right into Kelly. I think we're on, Kelly's coming soon. But that is, one thing I've noticed too with artists, like touring has changed somewhat. I remember hearing a story about Aerosmith and how when Joe Perry wanted to bring his family on the road, that was really hard on the band. Like They didn't really want to take it. But now I feel like there's maybe more space for kids to come on the road. Maybe there's more care for kids on the road. But of course, then that does disrupt their lives. So let's hear from, let's welcome our other guest. I think she's emerging.
There she is.
Kelly Clarkson needs no introduction.
No.
That's like a long walk. Oh, sorry. You're so nice.
There's the mama. Look at these two with their
Yes.
shoes.
We didn't
I want
plan
you two
this.
to show your
We
shoes.
literally are wearing the
Those
same
are
shoes,
so
different
good.
print. I'm not tall enough, so I'm sitting up. Is that okay?
Oh, please.
If I sit all the way back, I'm going to
Good
dangle.
posture is very important.
Yeah.
So I'd like you all to talk about your partnership. What's happening with you two together?
I'm just excited. As you heard, it's just exciting to work with such an inspiring woman that leads the pack, and also how she creates her team. It's a lot like I feel like my people that are in my area, touring and my tour family and everything, feel like ours is. It's a trickle-down system, and if you're working hard and you're bold and you're taking ideas from the most important on your team to the just hired on your team, I think that's when you find success. Like in my 15 years, and that's what is attractive about her. She's like that, so.
So Kelly, you obviously came to national attention as in the dead center of the mainstream.
Yes.
You were
Overnight.
Yes. But overnight because you've been working for a long time.
Yes.
So
nobody thinks of that. They're just like, she showed up and it just happened. I'm like, okay.
That was what I wanted to ask you. What was that experience for you of being an overnight star when in fact you had been working for such a long time in LA trying to make it? And
I think a lot of it, especially after being on the show, a lot of it I just had to learn to you have to take the high road and swallow a lot, because a lot of people are bitter. They work for, a long time, and there's reasons for being bitter because it's aligning of the stars. It's hard work, but it's also aligning of the stars. Like if you hit, we all know those artists that are amazing that for whatever reason, haven't hit. And it was just one of those things where people, they don't want to know the whole story. They just want to not like you for it. Especially because American Idol, that first season was nothing was like it on TV. That's why it exploded. So I don't know. I think it was just one of those, it was the first lesson and just sitting back and going, okay, everybody doesn't have to be your friend. Everyone's not nice. It's fine. Build a bridge. So yeah, it was that first and I was 19. So That's a hard lesson to learn, especially I'm Southern and I love everyone. So it's a very hard lesson to learn for people just to be rude right off the bat. But I think it became more accepted, obviously, in the industry, and now other shows are created. And it's one of those things that TV is such a powerful, which I think is kind of a throwback. TV used to be the powerful thing, with American Bandstand and all this. It's kind of, it came back around, and it's a great way to get in your audience's home. It's a great way to feel like they know you, and they're not just hearing you at a concert. They're not just seeing you. They get to actually see your person, and they feel like they're hanging out. So, and it kind of fits me perfully. So I love.
Who doesn't want Kelly Clarkson to hang out in their
You don't. Right? Watch what you ask for. I'm a whole lot of woman. It's
well, we were talking before about how music has evolved to become where the edges of genre are blurring, and artists are making unclassifiable music. And I think that's something you did from the very beginning of your career.
I tried with so much passion to do that. Yes.
Yeah, your sound, and of course working with Max Martin, working with a global
Babyface. There was just a lot of different people that I worked with throughout the bat, and that's what I wanted. That was my big dream. After Idol, the one thing I did love, and I do love about shows like The Voice and all them, you get to showcase yourself in so many different genres. It'll be Rock Week, or it'll be and you never heard that song before sang like that. You know, it makes it interesting and it brings music together. I think people can get very segregated with it and they catalog you or, you know, or categorize you. And it's like, well, wait, there's more to me. Like people, you know, Pink came out with like a whole thing that was like more singer-songwriter and people were like, what? And I'm like, yeah, she sings with a guitar sometimes. Like it's like, that's not weird. That's a normal thing for a singer. But people just are like, wait, you're supposed to be flying and you're supposed to be like hating on someone. And, you know, like, it's like they get like so like caught up in like just this one thing. And artists, like any artist that you know, whether they're a painter or sculptor, anything, you don't just do one thing.
Right.
That would kill an artist if you had to do that.
And it's especially, I mean, it's particularly true as a vocalist. And what you're saying, you're working with a R&B great like Babyface, and then, you know, doing rock. You did, you know, full-on rock music. So, I mean, before you went on Idol, was that even then your goal to like travel the universe of popular music?
Even when I actually wanted to be a backup singer, so that plan didn't work out.
Really?
Yeah, I did. That was my goal. I moved to LA after high school because I thought how amazing they get to sing with like so many artists that they, you know, love and grew up listening to, but they don't have to do like all the famous stuff. I was like, it didn't work out, but it worked out. But no, that was my goal. And I've always been that kid. Like I was always either doing musical theater or plays or operas or singing at country things, singing at gospel things, singing, you know, at pop shows that we had, like with our pop choir. I was a part of it. We had really outstanding outfits. Don't look for those pictures. But yeah, no, I've always been that kid that really adores everything. Like I find beauty in any kind of music. But I just think with every artist, like especially this new album that we're making right now, like there are those records in artists' lives though that you're like, whew, I'd been waiting to make that one for a while. Like, you know, so that's what's exciting about Atlantic. When I met Julie and I met Craig, especially Craig going through the music because he A&Rs a lot of it, like just his feedback on what he likes of me as an artist and what I wanted to do as an artist was so dead on. That it's a beautiful thing though every once in a while when you have that moment in your career and you're like, God, they're going to get to hear what I can really do, you know?
So what is, can you
Not
give
that
us,
you haven't for
can you
15
drop
years.
us any hints of what specifically you
I
might
have
be
actually
hearing?
dropped a hint, and I'm not even going to say what it was, but I didn't mean to say it, but
That's the journalist
I've actually already
shrieking,
done
like,
that subconsciously. But no, it's so good. It's very urban, it's like urban pop, soulful, R&B.
Very soulful.
Yeah, very soulful.
Very soulful.
Like, even if it's like a full-on anthem kind of thing, it's like in a soulful, like, I might beat you up while I'm singing this with my sound. Like, it's just got a lot of sass, and it's interesting because I was telling her at lunch today, Julie, that my background singers that have worked with me for years are like, oh my gosh, it's like the first record that's like your full-on personality, like as well as like a big, because everybody was always like, oh yeah, she's a great singer, like it's like she can sing a song, like, you know, but there's a lot of like personality inside me too that I don't think people have really like sass that only my daughter emulates. It's
All
karma.
I can tell you is I put the record on and it was like she kicked through the front door.
Wow. I know, it's so good.
Like she is coming and it's great because, you know, I feel like, you know, I say to people all the time, like, I eat nails. I could eat you, right? And that's part of my rap and running the record company. Right. And we all know Kelly has this big voice, but these songs has so much just, like she said, attitude and just the soul of her voice. I mean, she's not walking through the door. She's kicking it the fuck open.
It's really fun. It is, and it was. It was like all the writers, like how Craig kind of set up. I'd never made an album like this, and it's just amazing like how many singer-songwriters I've never met before that have come together, and we are from totally different worlds, but we've created this beautiful music for this album. It's like the most, I don't know, involved, like everybody's involved, like in every little part, and like everybody that's on the liner notes really counts, you know?
Yeah.
And it's a really fun time. It's been amazing working with them. I feel like a lot of times it hasn't been fun.
Did you make it here or did you make it in Nashville?
Here
or there,
in
LA?
And, well, no, basically here in LA, yeah. I always try and bring people here because we have 4 children. It's just like traveling with an army. So I try and do as much as I can here. So
And that's what I was talking about. Like, she protects her family. And that has always been her rule with us, which is really understanding, like, I'm going to work, I'm going to kick ass, but I also need my time for my family, which is something that as a woman, you respect so much.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
And tell me about, let's hear
Thank
for that.
you.
Right on.
Jack, I won one over.
Being here in Nashville, do you feel like that's easier to do here? Is it a family-oriented place? In your family?
Well, and I've told you this when we've talked before many a times. Like, I love visiting LA. I love visiting New York. But I was born in the country. I love living in the country. Like, it's like, and it's more of like, not just because like, oh, I don't like the people. It's more of like, that's my nostalgic, that's my safe place. That's where I feel like I can finally relax and just, let's face it, never mind. I'm relaxed on camera. I don't have a filter. But I just mean, like, for me personally, I do love the fact that even today I woke up and came in town and I'm going to end up at my house tonight. Like,
right.
I hated, my 20s were like living in hotels.
Right.
And while I don't mind, I'm a workhorse, but I really do think anyone, whether you're a workhorse or not, you need that moment of peace and like just silence and not feeling like you're having like the 17th interview of the day.
Right.
Because that person doesn't want you either. You don't sound fresh.
Right.
You sound like a robot.
But I have to say, you're saying, I want that moment of peace and silence with your 4 kids running around.
I have a really great husband, I'm not going to lie. I hit the jackpot. Literally, he can just look at me and be like, you should take a bath and like go relax. Like, not in an I'm dirty way, like in a, well, sometimes maybe. He's like, you should wash your hair. No, but just in that moment of like, sometimes it's overwhelming to just constantly have people, because you don't want to, like, my friends will be like, God, how do you do it with people coming up to you all the time? Right. You just have to separate yourself a bit from it and go, even if you're tired, it might be that person's one moment, and they don't know that you might be having a hard day. They don't know any of that. You have to be able to push it aside and say, okay, I'm going to give this moment to this person, because they might not see you again. But it is hard. It's nice to have that time, though, when you go home and you're just like, whew. And he lets me go have wine and a bath.
Well, actually, one thing that I absolutely love about Kelly Clarkson World is your fans and your connection with your fans. You have this intergenerational female fan base that is just, and not that you have male fans too, but it's very female driven. Yeah. And it is like a feminist, womanist, consciousness raising amazing moment at a Kelly Clarkson show, and that's been true for your whole career. So how have you nurtured that group of fans? I mean, I know, well, maybe you just answered that question. You're right there for them.
Yeah, well, and I think I don't know, from Idol, I think just because of how I came in the industry, it was so not the norm then, that like, if you've been to a show, like there will be everybody from a 3-year-old to an 80-year-old. Like, it's the most random audience that you would never find in the same room. But like, even with the LGBT community, with women, with kids just being excited about music, like, I mean, soccer moms, like, it's just all over the board. And I think the one thing that I keep being told is like, it's just the fact that sometimes we like to see the diva thing. Sometimes we like to buy into it and it's fun. But sometimes you just want to see somebody be real and say, you know what, it's not perfect and we all have crap days and we all look like this sometimes and it's not good. And it's fine. Like, we're all human. And I think that that's the one thing that like people always say to me. They're like, I just love that I feel like I don't have to try with you.
She's probably, I've just gotten to know Kelly this last year and a half, and probably the warmest artist I've ever met. I mean, just will hug everybody, talk to everybody, is so generous. I mean, the valet, the waiter, the busboy, I mean, it doesn't make a difference. The bathroom attendant, I mean,
that's because I've had all those jobs.
I mean, she's awesome that way. And like she said, it just gives out the warmth and gives back to her fans everything she gets from them, and it's wonderful. And it's just, when I'm around her, even I'm like, wow, she's so nice. I mean,
which is so funny though, because it's easy to be nice. It's very hard to be a bitch. Like, why are people bitchy? Like, it's like, you have to work at that. Like, I'm like, God, is that natural? It's like, God, it's so, you meet people and you're like, why? Like, and it's always the people that are like not very talented. It's always like, you meet people that are like amazing, like Annie Lennox or like Aretha. They're like so nice to you, and then you meet like a turd that just started, and they're like so entitled and like being mean to like the stage manager at an award show. And I'm like, did that make you feel good that you just shat on that guy in front of everyone back here? Like what? Like, and it's always the person that goes on stage and you're like, wow, so glad you're pretty. It's just like, what? Like, those are always the most bold. You're like, wow.
I gotta tell you, The Voice is so freaking lucky they got her.
Oh, no.
I mean, first of all, we better get as many albums as possible because she's going into TV for the rest of her life. I mean, she can host her own talk show.
I would never do that.
Well,
Thank God, thank God, thank God. Thank God.
Well, my scare is my mom. She's like, did she have to say shat? I don't know. Like, she's like so Southern Baptist and is like quasi-embarrassed but quasi-proud. It's like, it's always a hard moment for her.
I definitely think that others on The Voice have had success with records since the beginning of The Voice. So, I'm sure you're looking at your friend Blake and thinking, he's done pretty well in terms of his recording career.
Oh, gosh.
Since being on The Voice.
Oh, so. It catapults. He would tell you that. Like anybody would tell you that. Anybody on TV, like it just helps. Like I said, it's just such a great thing for artists now. Just because of music, you were talking about indie artists before. I think it's a great time to be an indie artist because everyone, it's fair game. Like with Spotify, with all these things, these ways to get out there, all these new artists have all these brilliant platforms. So for any artist, though, it's amazing to be, just regularly seen because we're a people that are. You have to have it now. It has to be now.
Yeah.
It's like we're not patient anymore. We're not. It's like the next. We have kids, so I'm a 15-year-old's like no, and I'm like you heard like 3 seconds of whatever song it was on the radio, and she's like no. Like they're just it's a generation. You need to constantly be changing it up and being in their face. So and honestly, like my husband manages Blake, so. It's a family thing, and also I love working with Blake. We love giving each other shit. So it's going to be really fun for me. I don't care if everybody else likes it. I'll have a good time. That's what's important to me.
So what do you envision bringing into the task of mentoring artists?
I'm so excited. Literally since the show started, because I remember when Blake started the show, before they were even saying like, before it was on, my management was like telling me, how it kind of happened. I'm like, they don't see them? I'm like, so you could like turn around and it's like a completely different like person than you expected. I have always been very intrigued by that, and I think it's brilliant too, because as a singer who has a lot of things that get in the way in the press, it's very nice for it just to be about the voice. Like it's just about the talent. It's just about the storytelling, and it's not just people that have great voices. It's a voice that tells a story, and that's what I love. Like, because you're sitting there and it has to move you, like to turn the chair, and then how some people turn and you're like, why did you turn? You're like, and then other people are like, why aren't you turning? Why is no one turning? Like, I'm so excited to do that and to help. I think, I have a very unique vantage point as well. Like, I've been them.
Yes, that's true.
And so it's nice to like be able to give back to like me as a kid, younger, like, and getting my start that way. And I love that it's not an ageist thing too, like any age is welcome. Like that's amazing.
I love that. Are you the first winner of a major contest to become a judge on one of these singing shows?
I don't know.
Huh. It is an interesting
Am I?
kind of full circle thing.
No, not the first. They announced J-Hud first. Oh, they did, yeah. Jennifer first, yeah.
Right.
She's going the next season that I'm going, which I love her voice. So perfect for The Voice.
Yeah.
She's so talented.
So what are the voices right now? Getting away from the show The Voice, but what are the voices right now that intrigue you as an artist, who you are attracted to?
Oh, well, I'm kind of that person that, I'll be real with you. For a year and a half now, I've just been listening to myself because we're making an album. We're making an album, so literally, like, it's egocentric, gone crazy in the car. Like, we're like, wait, check out this new mix or this song. So we've been listening to a lot of, like, songs that were either sent to me or writing with different producers. Like, so it's actually the last year and a half has been very this-centered. But overall, like, I'm a huge fan of Chris Stapleton, and I had been before he was Chris Stapleton. And I'm just a fan of that kind of voice that's it's such a a lived voice. Like it sounds like, oh, you feel like when he's singing, you believe it. Because the worst thing is when you watch someone and you're like, why are you singing this song? Like you've obviously never been there.
Yeah.
Like, and it's just, I guess for an artist, you're just like you like want someone to be there in that moment, and it's okay to be vulnerable, and it's okay to let your guard down, because that's what people want, or that's what I want, like watching artists. But I'm really big into Chris Stapleton and Casey Musgraves of the country. I'm a huge Bruno fan, which because of John Esposito, who runs Warner, and Bruno were my first two reasons why I wanted to talk to him, because I love that he came out of nowhere and he was very different, and but they just showcased him so well for who he is. Like they just picked all the right things, and watching that was like, I want someone to pick the right things with me. And I want to feel like I don't have to do that myself. Like there's a team that can do that. So Bruno's actually a favorite of mine too, but there's a lot of them. I love Ed Sheeran. I love a lot of, we have a range of kids in our household.
Right.
So there is a range. We're everything from Frozen to some urban music that her dad has no idea she listens to. Our 15-year-old who's about to be 16, I'm like, do not tell your dad about this. As soon as you start showing this stuff, you're not going to listen to it. But we listen to kind of everything in our household, but we love music.
So I asked this actually, I interviewed Angelina Presley, a great country singer and songwriter here in town recently, and we were talking about her son, who's I think 10 or 11, and she was saying, I have these songs that are kind of transgressive, and sometimes I worry what he's going to hear. And I asked her, well, do you ever think of yourself as tell him, there's a character, Angelina Presley, and then there's me, your mom. And I wonder if you do that with your kids.
No, I do. I think we all have our Sasha Fierce moment. We all kind of become this person on stage, and you do not just put it on, but you have to, when I sing Because of You, I'm not still 16. I don't feel that way still. So you have to kind of go back and almost be an actor in some sense when you're on stage. But with my kids, even with my new record, or people will be like, I can't believe you cursed. And I'm like, well, my kid's here cursing, and it's like alcohol. When you're old enough, you can. Yeah, right. You can't. You don't pay rent. So, but I think, what I tell our kids is it's truth. It's not the fact that I'm putting on, it's not the fact I'm acting, it's just, in this moment, this was true for this moment, what I was feeling, what I was thinking. And if that comes off offensive to anyone, that's not my intent. It's just, that's how it is, and you can't harness that. You can't push that down. You've got to be you got to mean what you say. And I don't know, I just think it's, as long as you're being truthful, and it'll be believable and it'll be accepted, I guess. But
you talked about how you make private space for yourself, or how in your family your husband will help you make private space for yourself by saying, shut the bathroom door and here's a glass of wine. How do you make private space for you with your family?
Oh, I think it's easy. We're very good at when we have 4 kids, no one wants to hang out with us. No, they're like, oh, that's the household with a lot of kids. And also we work a lot. And I'm always, which everyone always isn't excited about, but I bring my family everywhere. Because I want them to live and experience the moment, and I don't want them to feel like I've left them behind in that, because we get to do some really amazing things. And what we generally do is, if there's something going on, we'll plan 3 days before that and go with the family, enjoy the moment, then I work, then we go home. But I don't know, I found it interesting. We always talked about this at lunch, but I heard y'all talking about how mothers in the industry and how are you a mom and everything at once. And I was thinking while I was listening to y'all, and y'all, my mom was a teacher and worked her tail off, got Teacher of the Year, was an exceptional teacher, and came early for kids that couldn't afford it, stayed after, and helped them learn to read when they were supposed to already be able to read. She was exceptional, but I didn't see my mom a ton. And she wasn't famous. It's people that have jobs have jobs. And you know what that gave me? An amazing work ethic. It made me, I really want to work for what I give. And I told her at lunch, I was like, if they ever complain, I'm like, you're welcome for your future. Because if I die, you suck, because you didn't have to do anything. I'm my business manager is what she's here. And she's always like, I mean, do you want to do this for your kids? And I'm like, they have 2 arms and 2 legs. Get a job. I'm like, we do a lot for you. They can get a job. Like, they're fine. I'm not worried about them. I'm going to spend it all. You better hope I don't find out I have cancer. like, I always find that odd. I'm like, why am I saving money for other people? No. Why would I do that?
So have your kids inspired anything that we hear on this new record, or how much of your, I'm sure they have.
Definitely. I mean, I think being a mom, and I don't know if you agree, you probably do, but being a mom has brought, I've always been a confident person. I think that's just Texan. Yes. Yes. Oh, are you Dallas? Did we meet out there? Yes. What's up? I think, though, being a mom has brought another level of confidence, because basically the things that a mom does on the daily without adding a job is pretty insane.
It's true.
We're gladiators, basically. It's a lot. I mean, and just making them, especially when we have 4, you got to make each one feel special and loved, and you got to invest in each one. Like, it's a lot, you know? But I think the fact that I feel like we tackle that so well, Brandon and I as parents, like, it gives me such a level of confidence in my work life. Because like, in a lot of like, I mean, you'll meet a lot of moms that are like, no, I don't have time for that. Like, it's, yeah, you're done. I'm not 24 anymore. I'm not going to sit here and listen to that. Like, it's just like that thing where you don't, your time is precious and you're like, I'm not trying to be rude, but like, this is like, no. I'm not going to put up with you being mean. I'm not going to put up with you being demeaning. Like, there's a lot of that in the workplace sometimes, in any job. And it's just that point where you're a mom and you're just like, no. Like, you find out a different level of what's important. Yeah. And I just want to be a really good role model for them. And I think the only way to do that is for me to be happy. And so, you choose the things that make you happy, and then the trickle-down system applies, But I am long-winded. I'm
Kelly
sorry.
Clarkson.
Julie's like, shut up.
Well, this has been an astounding conversation. Thank you so much.
I'm so sorry I
both of
talk
you.
so much.
No,
I love it.
They love having you here.
You're like, cut the mic.
We just got the rap sign, but I think let's hear it for Julie Greenwald, amazing woman, and of course Ms. Kelly Clarkson.
Thank y'all.
Thank you, ladies. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Have a good one.